Carbs, proteins, and fats. Now that you understand the concept of macros as a whole, let's try to dive deeper into how much of each of these do you actually need in your diet. Hey guys, my name is Dev Biswas and I'm a senior fitness coach at Fitter. And if you haven't watched my previous video on the basics of macros, then I suggest you to watch that first and then come back to this video. Alright, let's start with the basics. So each gram of protein has 4 calories. Each gram of carbs will also give you 4 calories, but each gram of fat will give you 9 calories. That's more than twice the amount of carbs or protein. And that's why your body stores energy in the form of fat. Because from an evolutionary perspective, it makes much more sense and it's easier and efficient for your body to store extra energy in the form of a much denser macronutrient. More bang for your buck. Alright, so carbs, how much of it do you actually need? Well, before talking about carbs and fat intake, let's talk about the most important macronutrient, protein. The quantity of protein is important because it determines the quality of your weight loss. If your goal is weight loss, you want to lose fat mostly while not losing your muscle weight in your body. And if your goal is weight gain, then you want to ideally gain muscle mass while gaining the minimum amount of fat mass possible. If you can do that successfully, then your health, performance, and body, everything gets better. If not, then the scale results will look good, but nothing else will get better. So adequate protein intake is extremely important. How much do you need? Let's look at the most commonly referred macronutrient guideline, or even micronutrient guideline, known as the recommended dietary allowance, or the RDA. So the thing that's wrong with RDA is that it was designed to suggest to avoid any diseases, but not necessarily to get better and to improve over time. Okay, it's the bare minimum amount of nutrients required to not fall sick. Imagine if you get the minimum wage for your work, to barely eat. Would you be happy? Most definitely not. It's the same for your body. To perform better, your body requires much more than the RDA. While the RDA for protein is barely about 56 grams for a 70 kilo person, it isn't really enough if you want to get fitter and exercise and perform better, improve your overall body composition, improve your strength over time. However, yes, to avoid any diseases due to lack of protein, 56 grams would be just right. But how much amount of protein do you actually need if you are into lifting, if you are into exercise, and if you want to get better in general over time? Well, there are various numbers based on numerous researches, but without going deeper into individual researches, a meta-analysis which combines all these researches together and gives you a more meaningful result concludes that a safe number is about 1 gram per pound of your weight, okay, after subtracting the fat weight from it. For example, if you are an 80 kilo person with about 20% body fat, then your lean mass would be about 64 kg after subtracting your fat weight. So the amount of protein you would require would be twice that amount of your lean body mass. That is about 130 grams. Great. Now that you know about your required protein intake, let's talk about fat intake. See, fat has always been seen as the bad guy, but it truly isn't. It's the total sum of all the foods that make you fat, okay? Now, depending on whether you are in a calorie surplus or if you are in a calorie deficit, like I explained in my previous video. Fats and carbs individually do not really make you fat if the total calories are in check. Fat is in fact very important for your body to perform several biochemical reactions that keep you alive. Your hormones are made of fats. And here's another myth buster if you can believe it. Cholesterol, HDL, LDL, any of those are not necessarily bad. Cholesterol is an important part of your biochemical functioning. Both HDL and LDL are required. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about fat intake. According to recommendations, for a 2000 calorie diet, it's about 44 to 77 grams per day, which is about right even in the performance sense. Women generally need more than men, and women generally also store more than men. Okay, and that's normal and also very important. My suggestion in general would be to half your weight in pounds for your fat intake. But that does not necessarily have to be too precise. You have room to go a little low or a little high. Just take care not to go too low. Have at least 40 to 50 grams of fat in your diet. And get in some omega-3 in the form of fish oil, seaweed, flax seeds, chia seeds. Alright, of course, if I have to talk about supplementation when it comes to omega-3, fish oil is the best form of omega-3 supplementation if you are a non-vegetarian, but even flaxseed works, okay? Alright, let's go into carbs. Carbs are important even if you want to perform well in your weight training, and for majority of the people, adequate carbs in their diet helps them stay on their diet continuously without the need to crave and binge. We have all grown up eating carbs, and it is a necessary part of your diet even from an adherence sense. So the adherence factor is much better when you have a good balance of carbs and fats in your diet. Normally what I do is I fix the protein first, because obviously you don't want to go low in protein. You want to hit the amount that you would require. And then I add in fats. And after that, I fill the rest of the caloric requirement with carbs. Okay, the more carbs, the better after filling in your proteins and your fats. Normally, that's how most of my clients like it, and normally that's how even I like it. Normally, I would add some carbs around the workout, before or after. Okay, or even before and after. Also, people do obsess over GI a bit, and to some extent it does make sense to add slow digesting carbs before your workout if your workout session is going to last longer than an hour. Else, adding a fast digestive carb source is also fine if you stick to faster workout sessions. For the common person, that should work. You work out for about 50 minutes to an hour in general, so even fast digesting carbs is okay. But for people with maybe diabetes or insulin resistance issues, sticking to a low GI, whole seed carb source is generally beneficial, which does not necessarily raise the blood glucose fast. Okay, so there you have it. To summarize, your adequate amount of protein in your diet, typically the same amount of protein in grams as your fatless weight in pounds. Have about 40 to 70 grams of fats with some omega-3 supplement, and fill the rest of it with carbs. Simple and effective. And lastly, make sure that you drink enough water, about 3 to 4 liters, because water is the biggest macronutrient out there. In this video, I did not cover alcohol. That's a topic for a different video. But just know that alcohol has 7 calories in each gram. Okay, but do not take it as a macronutrient to fill in with the rest of your macronutrients, because alcohol is metabolized in a different way in your body. When you have alcohol, the metabolism of everything else is kept aside till the alcohol is processed by your liver. Okay, so try to limit or not have alcohol in the ideal sense. But yes, there you have it. Protein, very important. The amount of your weight in pounds have those many grams of protein. Fats, try to have a minimum of 40 to 50 grams, and fill the rest with carbs. If you have access to whole grain, organic sources of whole seed carbs, go for that, or you are free to experiment with the sources of your carbs. Okay, and if you do not want to miss out on your vitamins and minerals and micronutrients, I do suggest multivitamin and multimineral supplements in general, and also a lot of vegetables. Okay, and fruits if you can fix it in your macros. I'll cover micronutrients in the next video, so also make sure you check that out. But for today, on macros and macronutrients, that's it. There you have it. Feel free to comment, feel free to like this video, and do share it with your network if you find it useful, and if you think that someone else can benefit from this video. Alright, till then, stay healthy and take care of yourself. See you in the next video. Bye bye.